10 signs you need to grow the F up. So, number one, and by the way, these are signs that you're immature. And whether or not you want to be immature, that's your business. But 99% of the time, your immaturity is having a direct effect on the people around you. It's having a negative effect on the people around you, and it's affecting your future. And why would you want to do that, right? If you want to be a loser the rest of your life, I guess that's kind of your business. But for the most part, if you don't want to be a loser the rest of your life, you're going to have to fix these problems. These are problems that make people think you're immature and they can't depend on you. They don't want to be around you. They think you're annoying. And you're not going to get anywhere like that because you need people to succeed. You need relationships to succeed. You need people to trust you. Number one, you're always broke. And that's because you're always wasting money and making emotional buying decisions. So, number one, being out of control of your emotions. That's an immature mindset to begin with, right? Because part of growing up and becoming more mature is getting control of your emotions, getting your feelings in order, right? Not having emotions and feelings and just deciding like, oh, I'm going to act on them because this is a smart decision. No, you have to work on your non-reactivity. So the reason you waste your money making emotional buying decisions is because you're being reactive. You see that thing and you're like, oh, I got to have that. Because my ego and my self-image says I got to have that thing. I want to buy that thing to impress people. I want to buy that thing so I feel like a king. I don't care if I'm broke. That's right. It's just dumb. And it's okay to be broke because you were off of work for a couple of weeks or something happened, an emergency came up, and now you're broke. But if you're always broke, now that's immature. That's really shitty of you. Especially if you have kids and a family to support, or you're in a relationship and you're always broke. That's really selfish of you because now you don't have ability to attain resources, or money is a resource. So you don't have the resources to provide tools to solve problems for yourself, for your family, for the people you love, for emergencies that come up, for bad situations that require money to fix them. You don't have it because you're always making emotional buying decisions, buying dumbass shit that doesn't solve problems. It just serves your ego and serves your self-image that nobody gives a shit about. Number two, you can't keep a job. This is a big one. So a lot of people can't keep a job because they're always late, they miss days, or they ignore their reputation, right? So if you're always late, of course, you're not going to keep a job for long. If you're always missing days, you're not going to you're not going to have a job for long. So the only way you can be late and miss days and still keep your job is you probably have a shitty, low-paying job. And, you probably don't have a long future there anyways. But another one is ignoring your reputation, right? So every day you go to work, you're expanding on your reputation. You're either a dumbass or you're smart. You're either selfish or you're valuable and useful. You either give a shit or you give a shit, and you want to be a good team member. You want to roll, you want to push the ball forward. You want to contribute. You want to make things happen. You want to push the company in the right direction. Everything you do contributes to your reputation at your job. And if you're too dumb or ignorant to understand that, then you're immature, right? It's a sign of immaturity because all you care about is coming in, clocking in, looking at the clock. Okay, I could go home. I'm going to get paid so I could go blow all my money and be broke. Number three, you're lazy and unmotivated. This includes being sloppy and messy and not cleaning. So laziness is just ignorance and being unmotivated. So nobody is completely lazy and unmotivated because you're not lazy when it comes to picking up your cell phone and scrolling through TikTok or social media. You're not unmotivated to pick up your cell phone and scroll through social media or watch TV or go shove McDonald's in your face, right? You're lazy and unmotivated when it comes to things that actually matter. Things that improve your life, add value to your life, solve problems, get things done. You're lazy and unmotivated when it comes to that. You only care about dumb, useless shit. That doesn't matter. That's not improving anybody's life, not solving problems, not making things happen. And that's immature. That's immature. You don't clean up after yourself. You're sloppy and messy. You don't think it's important to keep areas clean. And it's immature. Number 5. Oh, number 4. You're irresponsible. You can't be depended on and trusted. People feel anxiety around you. So I guess that nailed it. When you are irresponsible, people get anxiety around you because they don't want you touching their shit. They don't want you driving their car. They don't want you staying in their house. They don't even want you opening their fridge and making yourself a sandwich because you're irresponsible. You're not going to close the bread. You're not going to put things back where you found them. You're not going to clean off your plate and put it in the dishwasher. You're going to sit there and shove that sandwich in your mouth, probably not wipe off your face. You're going to put the plate down. You're going to leave bread all over the counter. You're going to take the mustard out and put it back in a different area in the fridge where you didn't even get it. And then you're going to be like, all right, see you later, fun hanging out. And you're going to leave. And after you leave, that person's going to look over and just be like, oh my God, this person made themselves a sandwich. They don't have enough respect for other people to leave the house the way they found it, right? At least put the plate in the sink. And you're irresponsible with bills. And that's just a small example. You're irresponsible with bills. And the truth is you're irresponsible because you just don't give a shit. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows you're irresponsible because you don't care about anything that doesn't have to do with you because it's not your problem. You're just doing what serves your emotions in the moment. Your emotions say, oh, I want this or I want to do that. And then you go and do it. But the little thought in the back of your head that says, okay, how is this affecting other people? Or if I don't do this thing, or if I don't finish this thing, or if I don't clean this up, or if I don't put this away, or if I don't pay this bill, or if I don't do that, how is this affecting other people? How is this affecting people around me? And how are people going to perceive me if I do or do not do this? Those thoughts don't occur in your head, right? Because you're irresponsible. You're just like, ooh, I want this thing right now. And then you go on with your life and people are following behind you, picking up the crumbs, picking up after you, fixing your shit because at the end of the day, you don't give a shit about anybody but yourself. And that makes you irresponsible and immature. Number 5, which is related to number 4, you burden others. You don't clean up after yourself. You live with your parents and you let other people do your job. Those are just examples. I'm sure you could think of a lot more. So again, you come to somebody's house. Hey, can I have a sandwich? Yeah, sure. You're eating the food they paid for, and you burden them with having to clean up after you. You don't clean off the counter. You don't put your plate away. They put things back where you got it. You're just a messy, sloppy, irresponsible person, and you don't give a shit if you burden people or not. You make plenty of money to live on your own, but instead you're going to mooch off of your parents. You're going to be selfish. You're not going to pay any bills, and you're going to stash as much money as you possibly can in your bank account to buy crap that you don't need, things that serve your ego and your self-image, and you're going to use your parents to keep on living with them because you don't want to work harder. You don't want to get that higher paying job. You don't want to push yourself to do better for yourself and see how much you can achieve. You're going to take the low-hanging fruit. I already got a place to live. I already got my bedroom. Why do I need to move out? You're just going to burden other people and you don't care. You don't care that you're using electricity and water and resources that another person has to pay for. You don't care that you're living in their house, not paying for a goddamn thing, and they still have to clean up after you, and you're 30 years old. So, you let other people do your job. All right, let's just say at your job. your job is to do X, Y, and Z, and you only do X and Y, and you're like, I don't give a shit. Somebody else would do Z for me. I don't care. And then you clock out and you go home. You're immature. You're allowing somebody else to do your job, something you're getting paid for, something you signed up for when you got that job. Yeah, sure, I'll do this and this and that. Well, you did this and this, but you didn't do that. You're burdening other people. That's immature. Number 6, you don't keep your word. So keeping your word is not just saying, yeah, Bob, I'll go ahead and do this, and then you don't do it. Keeping your word is, I will be there at 5:30 and you show up at 5:30. And if you're not going to show up at 5:30, you're considerate enough to pick up the phone, which is always in your hand anyways, because you're scrolling TikTok and Instagram and looking at asses on Facebook or Instagram, I guess. And you don't have the common sense or courtesy to say, hey, I'm not going to be there at 5:30. My bad. I'm going to be there at 6. Instead, the person is there at 5:30 looking at their watch and they're like, where is this person? And they wait for 30 minutes and here you come showing up and they're like, dude, you can't bother letting somebody know you're going to be late. I've been waiting here for 30 minutes. What's your problem? And you're like, whatever. You know, you don't keep your word. And that goes with bills. So when you have bills that need to get paid and you're like, I'm not going to pay that bill. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're not keeping your word. You're not being honest. You're not being responsible. There are other people on the end of that bill. There's a company at the end of that bill that is depending on you to pay your bill. And paying bills is part of keeping your word, right? So borrowing money and not paying people back. Hey, let me borrow $10. I'll pay you back next week. And then 6 months later, they're saying, hey, do you got that? You got that $10? And then you're like, oh, I'll get you in 2 weeks. Don't worry about it. You know I'm good for it. You don't keep your word. That's immature. People aren't going to trust you. You're undependable. You're unreliable. That's like one of the worst possible things you can have wrong with your reputation as a person is you don't keep your word. At least for me, right? If I know somebody who doesn't keep their word, I'm not going to trust them with nothing. Nothing. Don't even come to my house. Seriously, don't even come to my house. Like, you're not stepping foot in my house. You don't keep your word about nothing. I don't trust you to clean up after yourself. I don't trust you to do anything. That's how strongly not keeping your word affects other people. And I guess not keeping your word is not following through, right? You tell people you're going to do something and you don't do it. Number 7, you're ignorant and arrogant. So this is something I've thought about for the last few years. It's okay to be ignorant, right? Everybody's ignorant at one point or another in their life about something. Everyone is ignorant. And you stop being ignorant by educating yourself, by taking information and putting it in your head and then maybe going through the motions enough times to where you're no longer ignorant about that thing. You got it down to a science. You understand how it works. You're not ignorant. And it's okay to be arrogant. And I know you probably might disagree with that, but some people I know who are the best at what they do, like they're really, really, really good at their job. They're a little bit arrogant, but they're good at their job. They're dependable. They keep their word. They got a good reputation. They follow through. They show up. They're there when they're supposed to be. They do everything they're supposed to do. There's nothing bad you can say about them, but they're a little arrogant. So what? Who cares? Here's what makes you immature is when you're arrogant and you're ignorant. So basically, when you're ignorant and you're arrogant, it means you don't know shit and you're an asshole. Those two things don't work, right? And there are so many people today that they are so stuck up and narcissistic and arrogant. And you're like, oh yeah, tell me about this thing. And they're like, oh, why? You're ignorant and arrogant. That mixture of personality traits, you are going to crash and burn, fall straight on your face, look like a dumbass. You won't be able to keep a job. You won't be able to keep friends. Opportunities will elude you. You will never have the money you want. You'll never have the success you want. You'll never have the relationships and connections and networking you want, because everybody recognizes ignorant and arrogant when they see it. You got to choose one or the other. Either you're going to be ignorant, which is fine, as long as you try to learn, or you're going to be arrogant. And if you're going to be arrogant, you better be the very best at what you do. You better be so good at what you do, nobody could say anything to you because they don't know more than you do. You're the one teaching class. Have a seat. Let me teach you, right? That's when you can be arrogant. But if you're not at that level and you're arrogant, you're just asking for problems. That's immature as hell. Number 8, you get angry, jealous, and you complain. Number 1, getting angry is dumb. It's a sign of low intelligence. It's a sign of immaturity. It's a sign of being childish. Children get angry. Children lose their temper. Children lose control of their emotions. Children feel emotions and then decide to react to it. Oh, I'm feeling this thing, so I'm going to go crazy, right? That's what children do, right? Children feel jealous about something and then they react to it. They get angry. Oh, that person over there, and they start acting like little wussies about it. That's what children do. But as an adult, you can't do that. Complaining is bitching, getting angry, even being jealous about things you don't control, right? If you're ever going to complain, you better have a solution in place. Hey, I got a complaint. This shit's stupid. This doesn't work. This person's an idiot. Do you have a solution? No. I just wanted to say that. I mean, what good are you doing anybody? What value are you adding by pointing out that this person's stupid, this is bullshit, this doesn't work, everybody's idiots? Where's the solution? Don't ever complain unless you have a solution. Do you have a solution? Yeah, I do. Fire Bob because he sits on his ass all day and eats sandwiches. He doesn't do anything. Fix this. This is exactly how you fix it. I'll even print it out for you and move this around. This will fix everything. Problem solved. Okay, now you're being useful. But if you're angry, jealous, and complaining all the time and nothing positive's coming out of it, you're just immature. You need to work on that. Number 9, you need attention and approval. You're addicted to social media. You draw attention to yourself. You won't stop talking, kind of like I'm doing right now. I'm talking a lot, but for a good reason. So, needing constant attention. You need to take pictures of yourself and take selfies. Oh, I'm looking nice today. And you take a selfie. I wonder how many likes and comments I'm going to get today. I wonder how many people will think I'm pretty or whatever. That's just like super immature. Because at the end of the day, you just need to be getting approval from yourself. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Did I do last night before I went to bed what I was supposed to do? Did I do today what I was supposed to do? Do I have my own approval today? No, I don't. I didn't do what I was supposed to do today. I don't approve of myself. I'm going to work on it. Drawing attention to yourself. Being in a group of people and being loud and boisterous and looking and acting like a jackass because you want people to give you attention. That's just dumb. You need to keep a low profile. When you're in big groups of people, mind your business, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your family, pay attention to people around you. But when you're drawing attention to yourself, what you think you look like, you think you like everybody's looking at you like, oh my God, look at that person over there. They're cool. What people are really thinking is they're like, hey, look at this jackwagon over here. This guy, what an idiot. That's what people are thinking. So stop needing attention and approval. Number 10, you get bored easily. This is really bad. This is just childish, right? If you're an adult over 18 years old, if you're an adult and you're like, I'm bored, I got nothing to do, you need to figure out what's going on in your life because you should have so many things going on that you can't get bored. You should be like, oh my God, I got 10 things done today and I still have these other 3 things to do. Like, so one problem I never have is being bored. I mean, I'm always behind the ball. I always have more goals than I will ever reach. I always have more things to do in one day than I can possibly get done in one day. That's the way you push the ball forward. That's the way you succeed in life. Always have more to do than you can possibly get done. But if you are a grown adult, you're 35 years old, and somebody texts you, hey, what's up? What are you doing? And you're like, no, just sitting here bored, looking for something to do, just watching TV, drinking a beer, eating a sandwich. You're immature. That's just my opinion. You could disagree with me if you want. But I mean, you get bored easily, not having enough things going on in your life, not having enough goals, not having enough tasks to focus on. That's immature. That's lame. That's weak. You're a grown adult. Your job is to be getting things done, pushing the ball forward, making things happen, trying to improve yourself, trying to be the most you can possibly be. So if you're getting bored, I'm bored. Yeah, if you're getting bored, that's like immature as hell. You need to like seriously grow up. Figure out what to do with your life. Move out of your parents' house. So let's go over them. Number 1, you're always broke. Number 2, you can't keep a job. Number 3, you're lazy and unmotivated. Number 4, you're irresponsible. Number 5, you burden others. Number 6, you don't keep your word. Number 7, you're ignorant and arrogant. Number 8, you get angry, jealous, and complain. Number 9, you need attention and approval. And number 10, you get bored easily. I'm bored. Work on these 10 things. Seriously, if you notice that you have any of these problems and you think, oh, nobody thinks that about me. Nobody thinks that. No, you're wrong. People are thinking that. They're just not going to tell you because you're too dumb. Why are they going to waste their time telling you, hey, here's what I noticed about you and here's what you can improve? Nobody's going to do that for you. They're just going to look at you and talk shit and avoid you. Simple as that. I don't mean to be all super negative. I'm just trying to be realistic about this. So these are 10 signs you're immature and you need to grow up. So work on these things. I guarantee you, you will make huge strides in the right direction in your life.